Good morning and welcome to today's episode of Sylvie on Saturday. It's kind of an important one. I'm excited. My very first guest interview. So I'm going to go grab my coffee and I'll meet you back here for the show. Good morning. I don't normally say much in the intro to my sugar cube. I kind of just flow into it. But today I just want to say that if you have a quick video clip shows how beautiful the world is, how great people are, kindness, loving, helpers, if you have a video clip that's a sugar cube moment, please feel free to share it with me and I will put it into a future show. For today, you get a squirrel. And welcome again to my show. For those of you that are new here, I'm Sylvie. Today's Saturday and this is the edition of Sylvie on Saturday for today. First off, I want to give a shout out. A couple of weeks ago I did a bit on Refresh, littlethings.com Refresh, their show that they do. Well, it's 10 a.m. their time, 7 a.m. Pacific, and the show just keeps getting better and better. The cast is amazing. Cassie, Paul, I love you guys. Behind the scenes is incredible, and they've started recently a Facebook group for their sugar cubes. That's where I get my sugar cube moments. I'm going to carry on the positive. You know, you turn on the news and everything's just something to brighten your day, like my little squirrel. I've got another one at the end for you. So yeah, a shout out to Cassie, Paul, and all my sugar cubes. Thank you for the support and encouragement as I was getting ready for my guest interview, which will be coming up later on the show. But first, I have for you just a couple of pictures that I got offline about Samaritan's Purse and how easy it is to put the box together. Okay, the charity Samaritan's Purse is amazing. It's one that I will always support and believe in wholeheartedly. As you'll hear later, my church has been doing it for 25 years. I've been doing it off and on for about a dozen years. Mostly when my kids were little, it was a pre-Christmas activity to put the box together and remind them. It was like a lesson on helping and blessing others, and it's so worth it. Like you'll see later in my interview with Sharon, that it is definitely worth it. And it's easy. You get to choose the gender, the age of the child that you want to bless, pack the box with your stuff, and find your collection center. With me, it's easy because it's my church. I'm so blessed. Well, we're at the halfway point of my show, which is the point where you get to do your part. Click like, click the little bell if you want to get my updates every week when I release a new video. I promise they're just getting better and better and better. Yeah, if you have any comments, scroll down to the bottom and leave it for me. I will reply. And like I said earlier, if you have any sugar cube moment videos, please feel free to pass them along. I will use them. Subscribe to my channel, please. I need the numbers. And I'm having so much fun doing this. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and coming up is the interview I've been blabbing about since the beginning. Thank you again, Sharon, for agreeing to sit and talk with me. And thank you again, Caitlin from An Instant in Time Photography, for being my cameraman. Here's the interview.
Is on.
Okay, first, thank you for agreeing to do this interview. This is Sharon Reis. She's a member of my church, and I've got her here today to talk about the video clip you saw earlier. This is Samaritan's Purse program. So Sharon actually got a chance to travel with Samaritan's Purse, and I'm kind of excited, so I'm hopefully not too nervous. So where and when did you go, just to start?
Well, we've been collecting Christmas boxes since we've been Kitimat through this church for about 25 years. And because I'm a coordinator for that, I was invited to go on a trip down to Uruguay in 2008. And there was 25 members all from all across Canada that met in Florida, and then we all traveled down there together. So right from West Coast to East Coast, we all gathered and we went down there for 8 days to give out shoe boxes.
Oh wow, I thought that was just a personal trip. I didn't realize it was a whole day.
It was from Samaritan's Purse.
Oh wow. What were the conditions like? Because we are so fortunate to live in Canada. Was it like, were you shocked by the conditions you found?
The conditions, as in any country, they varied from city to the countryside. The city being, some of the cities being, ultra modern, just like in Canada. But in the villages, we saw various conditions. One of the things that struck me most was seeing a very tiny home, and it was considered a more wealthy person's home. And they had a washing machine, and the washing machine looked to be about 50 years old, and it was a luxury for them. They had this thing, not a dryer, just a washing machine, and it was very, very old, very, very rusty, but they were one of the wealthier people to actually have this. Most of the people still did the laundry by hand. So there was very much, quite a variety of conditions, and a lot of children were quite poor, in many different ways.
The children make it to me every time. That was the next, what were the kids' reaction? I'm glad you've got that little video clip I'll be able to show, but the kids' reactions to the shoe boxes.
It was more reserved than I had expected. There was a lot of actual, a little bit of disbelief, I think, at their first reaction to getting a box. We saw many kids who had never received a gift in their life, so it was their very first gift. And one of my most memorable memories from the trip is one little boy, because his parents were involved with organizing it, he didn't think he qualified for a box. And when he was picked out to give a box, he got up and he ran away. And so we were trying to figure out through the interpreters what the problem was. And finally we understood that he had thought his parents told him he might not get a box. So he didn't think he was supposed to get a box himself. And when he realized he did, he just was very emotional and had tears, and so it was quite overwhelming.
Oh wow! And there's just so many children. And other than the little boy, is there another child that stands out as?
Well, I think one other story that really stands out is we are asked to pray for these boxes, and I believe that's a big part of it. And when you do pray, you really help the right box to go to the right kid. And I'll never forget seeing a little girl arrive at one of the events, and her toes were sticking a good, half-inch past her shoes. And so she was walking around, but her shoes really were way, way too small. They were sandals, so they just kept loosening up. And so when she opened up her box, there was another pair of sandals, and they fit her exactly.
Yeah.
And so that was pretty cool. That things like that. We saw several things that kids had asked for or wished that they had. One little boy his dad was in prison, and he wanted something for his dad, and he happened to get something for an adult in there for his dad. And so we saw several instances of things matching up with what the kids had expressed previously that they would have liked to have had. So it was pretty cute.
Prayer works.
Yeah.
So. And did the trip change your, I guess, view on prayer? Maybe not necessarily, but
it changes you. Every time you do something like this, it changes you, of course, because you come back, of course, so appreciative of what we have, so realizing that we have so much, and then it changes you in other ways too. Of just for me, one of the biggest things was just. Because I went down there and what I saw down there, this trip was mostly organized by the receiving country. That's the way they do it. They have people in the receiving country, and it's very much organized by them. They didn't need us to give out the boxes. It was really just a luxury for us to go and see what they were doing. But they had it all organized completely, and they were very efficient. And so it really made me, I guess, trust the organization, Samaritan's Purse, and Operation Christmas Child, and everything I saw down there showed that it's an operation that's actually working well in the receiving country. It's got people there who are doing the work, and so I saw integrity through that missions trip, and it's when you see somebody disclaim a different charity, you say, please be careful what you're saying, because unless you've been there and seen it, you really don't know what's doing. And I just really am impressed with Samaritan's Purse and with this ministry. Like I said, I've been organizing it for 25 years. It's dear to my heart, and I have seen the many children who actually get the boxes, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's actually why I wanted to do this bit, is because I had seen somebody slamming Samaritan's Purse online, and I was like, well, I know people have gone there, so thank you for meeting me today and agreeing to tell us your story, and thank you, Caitlin, for cameraman for me. And yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Well, there you have it, guys. That was my show for this week. Hope you enjoyed it. Remember, like, subscribe. You'll see me next week as well, and every other Saturday. Show used to be a half hour. I've shortened it due to your guys' suggestions, but still great, uplifting, happy show every week, I hope. Remember, blessed be, peace out, look for the helpers, and I'll see you next week.